Greetings and welcome once again to the Heart of the Witch's Path podcast. My name is Helen.
And I'm Cathy.
And we're here today with our first podcast of 2016. Wow, I didn't even hesitate with all of that. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I've already wrote 2015 once today.
I'm doing pretty good with the writing and all that stuff. So I think it's because I was quite eager for 2016 to be here. So I'm pretty happy about the fact that it is. So we're here today with episode 200, starting a new year. So if you've been with us for this long, we thank you for continuing to follow us. We appreciate all of your support and likes and all that good stuff.
And if you have been with us, you know that we were supposed to be doing a year-end extravaganza. Well, unfortunately, we experienced technical difficulties.
And that episode, that would have been 117, we didn't end up getting that ready and up before the new year, so we apologize for that. But we had some good information that we wanted to share, so we're going to bring you the information today, what we were going to do in 117.
So just pretend that this is 117, our year-end extravaganza.
So what we wanted to do is a 2015 year in review. Some important things that happened in the world of witchcraft, New Age, metaphysical studies.
And it's not everything big that happened. It's just some things that really caught our attention.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were brainstorming, trying to come up with what we were going to cover, these things came up.
Correct. However, before we launch into the news items, as they were, it's time for our correspondence of the week. Today we thought we'd talk about the planet Mercury and some of the correspondences that go along with that planet.
And my cat Nala has decided to put her 2 cents in. Hopefully she will keep quiet most of the episode. So correspondences for Mercury include the colors yellow, indigo, and rayed violet.
Not sure what rayed violet is, but all right.
It was out there.
The day of the week for Mercury is Wednesday.
The scents for Mercury include lavender, marjoram, vetiver, and clover.
The element associated with Mercury would be air.
Gods associated with Mercury include Anubis, Buddha, Loki, and Thoth.
Yes. And you might want to use Mercury magic for things like the powers of healing and rational mind, communication, working together.
Spells that involve trickery, deception, invisibility, and theft. Not that we're recommending you do those, but maybe uncovering trickery, deception, and theft.
Right. Yeah, there's 2 sides to every coin.
Absolutely.
So yes, that was...
again, technical difficulties. Okay.
That was the correspondence of the week. Interesting. All right. So, interesting Wicca things that happened last year. Some good things.
And some bad things.
Some sad things.
And we'll try not to depress you too much, although a lot of our topics are kind of negative.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But, I mean, we walk this path every day. So we see the joys that come to us every day.
Right.
You know, whether it be the sun shining down upon us or the wind caressing our faces or beautiful flowers and trees.
Children, pets.
Right, definitely. So we see the good regardless. And unfortunately, there were some sad things that happened this year. But let's start things off on a happy note. Let's talk about something that I was pretty excited about that happened this year, and that is the Parliament of World Religions. That was held in Salt Lake City on October 15th through the 19th. They're in beautiful Utah. I've talked about Parliament before, and I met someone at Convocation last year that was on the board. And so that's where I first heard about Parliament. And for those of you who might not be familiar with what it is, it started way back in 1893, and it was a means of bringing together leaders from various world's religions, bringing them together in one place so that they could have dialogues, exhibitions of rituals, things of that nature to share and learn from each other. I think really in hopes of bringing about tolerance, understanding of each other. You know, we're not, as Wiccans, we're not the only religion out there, and I think we know that. If you don't know that, hello, welcome to reality. I think that Parliament is a really exciting idea, and I wish that I could have attended. That would have been super cool. It was attended by almost 10,000 people, 9,800 people, representing 30 religions with 548 sub-traditions represented at Parliament this year. We know that there were some leading Wiccan elders that represented us there. We know that Selena Fox was there, and she'll be at Convocation in February, so I'm excited to talk to her about her experiences there. And we also know that there were Reverend Don and Reverend Ed from the Correllian nativist tradition were there as well. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about it, and yeah, Parliament.
Yeah.
Good for the world.
After that good note, we'll move on to a not so good note. In Pensacola, Florida, let's see, when was it? On July 31st, a North Florida man has been accused of slashing his family's throats and beating them with a claw hammer as part of a supposed ritualistic killing inspired by witchcraft. Now, my first response to this was, oh my God, they make everything out to be witchcraft just because it happened a couple days before a full moon. How can this really be? But really, we don't know what the crime scene was, and the police do not always release all the information. So it's possible that this crazy guy might have done something to make it look like witchcraft. And that doesn't mean that it was actual witchcraft, because at least the form that we practice does not involve human sacrifice or any other kind of animal sacrifice. But there must have been something that led them to believe it was a witchcraft ritualistic killing. The so-called Blue Moon Killer was arrested in late October, 3 months after the bodies of his mother and 2 adult stepbrothers were found in their Pensacola home on July 31st, along with another man who had been shot in the head. And the Escambia County Sheriff's David Morgan said he believed the trio was killed in anticipation of that Friday's rare blue moon because of the ritualistic positions of the bodies, and because the suspect had ties to the faith and or religion that is indicative of that. Now, again, you can be pagan and not kill somebody for your faith, just like a Christian who kills somebody doesn't do it for Jesus, but I guess some of them do. So
there's extremists and everything, and I don't think we know the full story yet, unfortunately.
And we may never.
Right.
The man was arrested and charged with 3 counts of first-degree premeditated murder, and the state's attorney will seek the death penalty. The information was reported by the New York Daily News.
Sad, sad, sad.
It is sad.
So many of you know that there were multiple mass shootings in the country last year, and we heard about 2 of them in which one of the victims were pagan, Wiccan, whatever in nature. So on Thursday, October 1st, 2015, a 26-year-old man entered several buildings on a community college campus near Roseburg, Oregon, and opened fire, killing a total of 10 people and injuring 9 others. Among those 10 victims was 59-year-old Kim Saltmarsh Dietz, a local pagan woman who was attending classes with her daughter. Witnesses stated that Dietz, quote, stood in front of a door to block the shooter and unfortunately lost her life, unquote.
Now there are heroes in all of these situations, or you hear of heroes, and this one and the one I'm going to speak about next, these people just happen to be pagans who stood in the way of danger. Larry Daniel Kaufman was working as a barista on December 2nd in San Bernardino, California, when Syed Rizwan Farouk, I'm sure I'm not pronouncing these correctly, and Tashfeen Malik entered the building and opened fire. Kaufman didn't hesitate and started to push people toward the door and urged them to leave before being killed himself. He is credited as saving 4 lives that day.
So we wanted to make sure to share the stories of these 2 individuals so that they are remembered by those in their community. We recognize their sacrifice,
Right.
and our thoughts and prayers go out to their families and loved ones that they can deal with the loss of their loved one and move forward.
Yes.
Now, on to the next story that we wanted to talk about, Circle Sanctuary flooding. Circle Sanctuary is an entity in
Wisconsin?
Illinois, maybe?
Well,
no,
no,
I think they're in Wisconsin.
They're in Wisconsin, but
They're
the
based
event's in Illinois.
Right, and every year they hold what is called Pagan Spirit Gathering, or PSG, which is a week-long event that is held in a campground, and there's guest speakers and classes and rituals and things like that. So it's a lot like Convocation. We've talked about Convocation.
Right. With less hotel.
Yeah, it's all camping. It's all tent. So like I said, this is a week-long pagan festival. And on Sunday, June 14th, was the opening of the 2015 gathering. It stormed at the Stonehouse Farm campground, as it had done all the previous week. The following Monday afternoon, a flash flood hit the camp. Cars and trucks were engulfed in mud and water up to their axles. People had to abandon their tents and spend the night in other attendees' tents that were located on higher ground. They were cold, worried, and many had only the clothes on their backs. Then it rained even more. The next morning, on Tuesday, attendees were stunned to hear the announcement that the Pagan Spirit Gathering was shutting down 5 days early. Everyone had to leave within 48 hours. This had never happened in the 35-year history of the Pagan Camping Festival. This is huge. We know people who have gone to PSG and have had a great time there. We're hoping that the loss of revenue, because
they had to refund a lot of the money.
Right. There was a lot of money refunded. We're hoping that the financial burden of that does not affect Circle Sanctuary or the Pagan Spirit Gathering. And hopefully it will continue next year.
Another big event in 2015 was the final issue of Circle magazine, which again affected Circle Sanctuary. The Circle Sanctuary staff announced on December 16th, 2015 that Circle magazine, its long-running print publication, would be ceasing production. Over its 37-year lifespan, Circle magazine, originally called Circle Network News, evolved from a simple organizational newsletter into a professional print magazine with subscribers from all over the world. The magazines could be found in both mainstream and metaphysical bookstores and was one of the seminal media publications serving a growing collection of alternative religions.
That's going to be a big loss.
It is a big loss.
It'll be a big,
Helen
big
and I have
loss.
both purchased issues, although we hadn't subscribed, but there's not a wide variety of pagan and Wiccan magazines out there.
Right.
And, you know, the internet has really hit a lot of the print publications, both newspaper and magazine, and this is another
victim of that.
Victim.
So, yeah, that's a bummer. Big times.
It is.
So we lost someone in 2015. We probably lost more than one person in the world of paganism, but this was a big one. Carl Llewellyn Westcheck. I'm guessing that's how it's pronounced. I tried to find a pronunciation like someone saying it. Anyhow, was a businessman and the president / owner of, you guessed it, Llewellyn Worldwide. He was president from 1961 until his death at the age of 85. He received nationwide media attention when he bought the supposedly haunted Summit Avenue mansion in St. Paul, Minnesota in 1964 and claimed to have numerous odd experiences there. Born in West Paul, he bought Llewellyn Publications in early 1961 when he was president of Chester Kent Inc. And in 1970, he opened the Gnostica bookstore in Minneapolis, as well as the Gnostica School for Self-Development based on Gnostic teachings. He began many Gnostic Aquarian festivals in Minneapolis and is also known as Gnosticon during the 1970s, which helped to fuel the rise in awareness of occult and metaphysical teachings. He was also elected president of the NAACP's Minnesota branch in 1959 and vice president of the ACLU's Minnesota branch in 1965. Carl died on November 7th, 2015, and is survived by his wife Sandra and their son Gabe. This is another big hit to our community, and hopefully Llewellyn will continue to run as it had during his reign.
Continue to publish many quality publications, books, and such.
Right.
I know I own a lot of books
that were published
by Llewellyn. Yes.
I think anyone with a magical library has a high percentage of Llewellyn published books.
Yes. So that's it for the really depressing stuff. Next year we've made the decision to try to find more interesting positive things. This extravaganza was just kind of the last month we went, oh, what are we going to include? Oh, that's so depressing. Oh, that's so depressing.
Yeah. So let's try to bring it up a little bit by sharing some of the milestones that we have had along with our coven members.
Right.
Let's talk about some of our yays.
Yays. So, well, as a coven, we finished the book, The Way of Four by Deborah Lipp, which we would totally recommend. It was an awesome book.
I believe I did a podcast, or not a podcast, a book review of that on my blog, and I will try to remember to post a link to that posting so you can check that out.
We had our 3rd annual Real-Lured Away.
Oh, it was a good time.
It was a good time. It always is.
Yes.
Despite one of our members being ill and unable to attend, we still video conferenced her in on a healing ritual, so that was very interesting. Mm-hmm. We attended Convocation last year and Pagan Pride, the Mid-Michigan Pagan Pride. Mm-hmm. So that was nice. So we did some more networking this year.
Mm-hmm. Met some people, did some things,
yep.
Taught some classes. It's all good. We also introduced, we're crafty witches. We like doing our crafts. And we've been doing a crafty craft day in the month of December for a couple of years. And this year we added last year, I should say, in 2015, we added our second Crafty Craft Day of the year, and both were very well received. And this is an event that we open not only to our coven members, but to friends as well, those who are not pagan or Wiccan.
Right.
And it's a good time.
Yeah, it started out as making crafts for Yule, but we generally make soaps and lotions and
hand sanitizers and all kinds of stuff.
Just to try to, because some of us Some of us are special snowflakes and have sensitive skin and can't use the soap that comes in the store.
Right.
Yes, I'm talking about me.
Mhm.
And lotion is, I find the lotion we make is much, much better than anything you can buy in any store. So, we really like the crafty craft stuff.
Mhm.
It's fun.
So those are kind of, um, those are yays for the coven for 2015. Cathy, what have you done for yourself?
What have I done for me? Well, last year I picked back up my studies with the Correllians, so I'm working on my 3rd degree for that, and I picked back up the Temple of Shamanic Witchcraft from Christopher Penczak to work on that some more. Helen and I started working more in depth on runes, reading what is the book called? Taking Up the Runes.
Diana Paxson.
Yeah, by Diana Paxson. So those were craft study things. I also joined the board of the Mid-Michigan Pagan Council, which I'm still not super geeked upon, but it's interesting. I meet new people, and I'm more involved in the pagan community in our area. That's the big things craft-wise that happened to me last year. Well, we worked on our Book of Lights to get those.
Mm-hmm.
We're still working on those to get them completed.
Yep. For me, 2015, I completed my year 3 with the Temple of Witchcraft and started year 4 and working on those studies right now. So that's a big deal. That means I only have like a year and a half left and I'll be done. So that's cool. I also taught my first solo class outside of any coven stuff, coven classes at the Pagan Pride Day this last year. And so that was kind of scary and crazy and wonderful and awesome all in the same time. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, just working on my daily practice, working with my guides, and just trying to learn and work with my true will.
Right.
So
So that was our fun stuff as individually and as a coven for 2015. And the last bit that we wanted to cover was the top 5 Wicca stuff that we bought last year. Helen, would you like to begin?
sure. Of course, we buy lots of things all the time. So we thought we'd pick 5 things that, really stood out for us of the Wicca stuff that we bought. And my number one thing was, well, I guess it's not in any order. So I should say it's not number 1 or whatever. But my first thing that I thought I'd share is my turkey feather fan that I bought at Convocation. When I heard that there were some native made feather fans, I knew that I had to check them out, and with no anticipation of buying anything, but as soon as I held that turkey feather fan, I knew that it had to come home with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I like it. I like it a lot. So the next thing for me is my aromatherapy diffuser. This is like the American Express card. I don't go to sleep without it. I have seriously used it pretty much. There might be like an odd night here or there, but I use that diffuser every night when I go to bed. And I sometimes use it during the day too if I know I'm going to be spending a lot of time in my bedroom because that's where it's at. And since buying mine, I have talked to people. I have talked to multiple people and they have bought their own. And I bought one as a gift for someone in this very room,
which I like quite a bit.
I love mine. So highly recommend a diffuser if you don't have one. My third item is a kunzite pendant that I purchased at Pagan Pride Day. Kunzite is really good for grounding and centering and balance, and that's what I bought it for, and that's what it works for. So really like that. The fourth thing for me is yoga. I did something good for myself this last year and started taking some yoga classes. Unfortunately, some things have happened that I haven't been in a while. but yoga is amazing and did really great things for me. So I'm glad to have been able to do that for myself. And then the last thing is my Temple of Witchcraft tuition. This education that I'm receiving is invaluable and something that I'm so glad that I have the opportunity to get under my belt. And so thank you to Christopher for that. So that's my top 5 things.
Your top 5 things. And I was totally prepared for this when we sat down to do this a couple of weeks ago, and now I'm trying to remember what my top 5 were. Some of them are still sitting here on my desk. So one of the things that I purchased was a miniature cauldron because, okay, so the other part of the thing that we do are doll dioramas, and I want to set up a pagan store, quote unquote, for my dolls. And so I bought a miniature cauldron. That would be number 1. I also purchased a miniature crystal skull for the store. Also a fun thing, but it is a crystal skull, so there's things that you can use that for in ritual. And it's crystal, so there's grounding things. The third item, which is not on my desk because I put it back on my altar, is my Bast statue. Bast, she's usually portrayed in one of 2 forms, as with a woman's body and a cat's head, or as a cat. And the statue that I found is a woman with some cat features to her face, but it's definitely a woman, and it's just beautiful. I love it. And I am thinking about purchasing the Anubis statue to go with it, but I haven't done that yet. I also at Convocation purchased a rattle, I'm looking right at it. What is
Turtle?
the word? Thank you. Turtle rattle.
Turtle shell.
I did not go in with the intention of purchasing the rattle, but like Helen's feather fan, I picked up the rattle and it had to come home with me. And how many is that?
That's 4. I'm trying to remember what your
was
5th
my
one was.
5th one? Man. Oh, I remember what it was. Yes. On our visit to Jackie Smith's store in Ferndale, I picked up the Hot Damn spray by Miss Dorothy Morrison. It is a good luck spray and can be used for a variety of things, but I like to spray it on my shoes when I'm leaving the house to go somewhere new, or if I need some luck in something, I spray it in the air. It smells delightful. It is very helpful, and it is, again, Dorothy Morrison's Hot Damn spray. So that's my top 5.
Yay. And that's the podcast.
That's the podcast. That's our year-end
review.
Okay, it's our year-end review extravaganza for 2015.
Extravaganza!
Even though we're really, recording it here on the 3rd of January.
So we wanted to do something nice for those of you that are listeners. If you're listening to this, and if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up.
Yes.
But more importantly, we wanted to do something nice for, our subscribers and people who are listening to us. And we thought we would do a giveaway.
But there are rules.
There are rules. You must comment in the, you must comment below.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. You have to be a subscriber. You have to be a subscriber. That's the second thing. The third thing is today is the 3rd of January.
Yes, it is.
And I will post this today. Theoretically. You must make your comment by the 8th of January.
Yes.
So that's a Friday, the 8th of January. You must make your comment. And of those of you who comment
and subscribe,
and subscribe, like it, that helps you out, helps us out. We will put those names in a hat and we will draw a name and we will send you a secret
item.
Prize.
Yes. We can't guarantee it'll be worth a lot of money, but anything free is good.
Well, yeah, I'm going to put together a little package of love
Yes, we can call it
And-
that even.
And we will mail it. I will contact you and mail it out to you.
Yes, so make sure to comment below, and we would appreciate comments that could be what are big items that we missed for 2015? What are big items that happened for you? What were some of the things that were your top items that you bought this year?
And also, what would you like us to talk about
Right.
in this new podcast season?
What do you like about our podcast? What do you not like so much?
Right.
I mean, if the sound for our correspondence really bothers you, we can find a new one, but we need to know this.
Right.
So
comment below. We love you. Thank you for listening, and until next time, thank you for walking a little while on the path with us.
yes.
Blessed be.
Blessed be.